Coach, thanks for joining us on the call today. If you take a minute to tie up the win against Tulane, please. Tell us what you expect to see Saturday as you get back into divisional play to place Navy on Saturday as well, please.
They have given us a hard time 2 years in a row now. But we're happy that our kids responded well and found a way to get the win. We have a tremendous challenge, not just for our defense, but for our entire team this week with Navy coming to town, a program that's been to a bowl game 12 of the last 13 years. And obviously very well coached and highly disciplined team. It's going to be a heck of a challenge for us.
Take questions for Coach Fuente, please. *1 on your telephone to join the queue, then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go to Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. A lot of coaches around the American Athletic Conference, as well as in general around the country, have talked about Paxton Lynch and what he can do, and that they can see him in the NFL, and just what you can say about what his growth is and the day-to-day with him and how you view him, knowing that so many people on the outside have such high expectations of him.
Well, I'm happy to see him get some recognition because he's worked incredibly hard, both on and off the field, meaning in his physical development, his physical maturity in the weight room, gaining weight, adding strength to his frame, and on the field, just with his retention and observations of how to play quarterback. He's made huge strides in the past several years, and he continues to have that same mindset, that same hungry mindset that he continues to want to get better. So it's nice that other people are recognizing it. I'm probably most proud of the way that he's handling all of that. He's done a fantastic job of it. Just all the recognition and that sort of stuff. He's really stayed focused on the task at hand and, is dedicated to this team and his teammates, which I'm probably as proud of as anything.
And speaking on staying focused on the task at hand, there's a lot of talk on the outside of what your future is and then where you're going to go and what you're going to do and if you stay at Memphis. How do you shut all of that out and remain focused on the task as well, knowing that you're in so many conversations outside of the program?
Well, it's really not very difficult for me. We just have these games, these big games that continue to come up week after week, and I don't really have time for anything else other than trying to prepare our team and prepare myself for the game. So I'm pretty insulated from the outside world, quite honestly, on a day-to-day basis. I get up and drive to work and stay at work till it's time to go home and drive straight home. So it's pretty easy, at least for me. I'm sure everybody's different, but at least for me to kind of block all that out and just focus on the task at hand.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
You bet.
We'll go to Gene Wang of Washington Post.
Coach, how are you? Thanks for your time. I have a two-part question. First, what do you think makes Keenan Reynolds such a special player at Navy? And Tulane had some success, obviously stopping the triple option. Is that something you take a look at in getting your game plan ready for that offense?
Sure. First of all, I think all things should be on the table when you look to defend these guys. I mean, other people that have had success, coaches on your staff that have had prior history defending it. Anything you can find, if you can find it in an old playbook from 20 years ago or something that happened 2 weeks ago, I think all discussions are on the table. As far as Keenan goes, I don't know the young man, but I've watched him play several games on film. He seems to be in total control of what they're trying to do. I read where last week it was 4th and 1, and coach was wanting to kick a field goal, and he said no, let's go ahead and get it, and they went for it and got it in for a touchdown. To me, that says that obviously those coaches have total trust in him. He's seems to be a consummate leader out there, and he obviously has some physical tools as well. He throws the ball well, he runs, he can make decisions on the option. Very rarely It seems to me, does he put them in a bad play? Seems to me they do some things at the line of scrimmage. So, as far as getting them in the right play versus the right looks. So, incredibly efficient player. I mean, he's just really dangerous and seems to be very proficient. He strikes me as just watching him on film as the guy that could run this offense in his sleep.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
We'll go next to Kyle Kensing of Athlon Sports.
Coach, I know that coaches don't typically like to compare players, but having worked with Andy Dalton, who's gone on to have a very successful NFL career, do you see any attributes in Paxton that are maybe comparable?
Well, I think in terms of intelligence, they're both highly intelligent young men. Andy had a different background than Paxton. He was maybe further developed at a younger age than Paxton. But both were able to retain information and comprehend information in a quick and timely manner. Both had great personas or personalities on the field on game day. Very laid back and focused on the task at hand. Their skill sets are a little bit different and all those sorts of things, but I think mentally they're very similar.
And when you made Paxton the starter as a freshman, was there something about him that you saw that he was going to be able to reach this point now where he's a guy that is in the Heisman conversation and people are talking about as a first-round draft pick?
Well, I mean, I obviously didn't come out as a freshman and say he's going to be talked about like this, a couple years from now. But we always felt like he had an incredible potential. It was going to be up to Paxton and how hard he worked if he was going to get a chance to realize that potential. And he has worked incredibly hard to continue to improve. So we knew he had a chance. We knew he had potential. We knew he was really intelligent. It was going to be a matter of, did he want to put the work in order to improve, to give himself a chance to be really, really good. And he has done that, and he's reaping the benefits now.
Thank you.
You bet.
We'll go next to Brian Moss of TigerSportsReport.com.
Hey, Coach, you touched on a little bit about preparing for Navy's offense. With an offense like that, how difficult is it to prepare for an offense that you don't see every week?
Well, it's incredibly difficult. It's completely different than anything else you see. It can also, you've got to have your whole team prepared too, because your offense may spend a good portion of the game on the sidelines. And they've got to be prepared for that as well. And as coaches, we've got to make sure our kids are emotionally prepared for it. We've got to do everything we can to make sure, from our scout perspective, that we can give our kids as good a look as humanly possible to get them prepared. But in the end, Navy has been running this system for so long. They're so efficient at it. They have answers for every look that they could possibly get. They're going to have some success. You just hope to slow them down enough that you can find a way to score one more point than they do, basically. I mean, if you're going to win this game, it's going to come down to the last possession at the very, very end. And hopefully we can put ourselves in a position to have that chance at the end.
When you take a look at your defense, they did well after allowing the 13 early points. They really settled down. When you take a look at the defense overall since the beginning of the year, it seems like they've definitely turned the corner. How satisfied are you with your defense?
Well, I think our mark will be, can we continue to improve? That's been what we've talked about ever since we started. Obviously, we still have not played the teams that want to throw the ball 60 times a game down the field every down. We haven't defended them very well yet. We've had 3 games against teams like that and given up substantial points. The teams that like to run the football and play action and do those sorts of things, we've been a little bit better at. But to me, it'll be, can we continue to improve? Can we continue to get better individual player development and overall defensive development? I think we've made some improvement, but I still think we have some work to do.
And how do you feel that your players are handling the success that they've earned so far?
I think they're doing a good job. I think they're handling it well. We're trying everything we can to make sure that they understand why those things are coming about because of the way they've gone about their business in the past. But in general terms, I think they're doing a pretty good job.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Time for one more for Coach Fuente, please.
We'll go to Bill Wagner of the Baltimore Sun Media Group.
Hey, Coach. I know this is hard to put into one small capsule, but if you could pinpoint a reason or a couple reasons why you've been able to turn this program around so quickly. In year 3, you won 10 games, which is very rare when you're coming into a rebuild. What would it be?
I think it's two things. I think we had a really good core group of kids that really believed in everything that we were teaching, and even through the hard times, continued to try and do those things the right way, and ultimately were rewarded with some success. So I think we had a great core group of kids. The challenge for us as coaches was to grow that core group into enough people that we had a chance to win. And then we've got a really good core group of coaches, guys that came here to build a program that didn't have to be sold or recruited to come here, but came here for our relationships and the way that we were going to do business. They knew me from previous relationships and the way that I wanted to structure things, and have stuck with it and never wavered. And much like the kids, are kind of reaping the benefits of their hard work.
Thank you.
You bet.
Coach, we thank you for the time. Thank you for the time today. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Okay. Again, Coach Justin Fuente from Memphis. The Tigers take on Navy at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, 7 p.m. Eastern Time start on ESPN2.